For a long time, I was addicted to a lot of things. And I would say that the number one addiction that was kind of the root of all of the other addictions was fear. For as long as I can remember, I always had this fear of loss. I always had this fear that everything was going to come crashing. And it could have been my social circle, it could have been my grades in school, it could have been work, and getting fired. I would always imagine myself getting fired. I would always be afraid that I was going to get fired. Even though I was one of the hardest workers, I would be putting in as many hours as I can, always trying to improve things, improve processes, things like that. But I would have it in the back of my mind that they're going to fire me because I'm going to do something wrong, or they're going to see that I'm fake, or they're going to see that I'm not needed. And so that fear would drive me to try and achieve more and try to get validation from the next person, and the next person, and the next person. So when I was at Boeing, it was my boss Ted, and then my lead Dennis, and then Yen, and then just one, and all of my bosses one after another, trying to get that pat on the head and that feeling of, no, everything's going to be okay. You're doing great. You're awesome. And even when they would say that, even when they would tell me that I'm doing okay, that I'm doing well, that everything's fine, I would still have that in the back of my mind that, no, something's going to happen. And it would constrict me. And so that constriction would then lead to this feeling of not having freedom. Eventually, I got deployed to overseas for Operation Iraqi Freedom. And that's where I felt the most constriction. I couldn't go anywhere for a year and a half. And I could not have control over what I wanted to control. And so this feeling of freedom slowly became non-existent. So when I got back, I started drinking. I was doing every addiction possible aside from drugs. There was not a week that went by where I didn't, because I was very Catholic, very devout Catholic, and there wasn't a week where I wasn't going to confession because I committed some kind of mortal sin. I would do it, go to confession, do it again, feeling completely remorseful, 100% remorseful. And there are people even now who are like, oh no, you couldn't have been remorseful because you kept doing it. No, it was 100% remorseful. But because I had no control, I mean, I had control, but what would happen is I would do the thing, go to confession, then I would imagine myself getting tempted again by the devil or demon or whatever, and the temptation would get so much that I just do it again. And over and over and over and over this happened. And so once again, that feeling of freedom was constricted and gone. It wasn't until certain things happened where I would get a little bit of freedom. a couple of groups that I joined got me back into working out, and through the endorphins of working out and taking time to do things like grooming and not looking like a bum and getting back to what I wanted, started bringing a sense more and more and more of that freedom that I craved. And so after a certain amount of time, that through different practices, different things like that, I would grow in, little by little, getting that little sense of freedom from that little seed, and it would start sprouting into freedom in my body, which was a big one. I remember I would talk to people. It could be a variety of people, different things, just from me speaking to them. My stomach would get tight. I would shake. I would stutter. After the fact, I would beat myself up because I would tell myself, oh, I should have said this, I should have said that, I should have did it. There was not the freedom of being completely authentic of who I am. And so little by little, physically, and then emotionally, every aspect about me started to grow in that freedom. And in The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida, he talks about how men crave freedom and how women crave love. And I never really understood, even though I had read it at the time, understood that. Of course, I knew I wanted to be free, but I didn't understand exactly what that meant. Because really the ultimate slavery, the ultimate form of being stuck, is internal. If you cannot, even in your imagination, if you feel, which I had this for a long time, if you feel like you can't even have certain thoughts, if you can't imagine yourself being a certain way because it's either bad or unrealistic or unreasonable, if you can't even have the freedom to do that, the openness to do that, and the ability to do that in your own imagination, which is 100% yours, if you can't even do that, then you're truly stuck. And I suffered so much when all the doubts and all the reasons of why you couldn't be a certain way, all the fears of what people would say, all the fears of what my loved ones would say. And even to this day, despite so much more openness to love, so much more patience, so much more peace, so much more joy all around, not just from me, not just through me, but other people benefiting from that, still to this day, I have loved ones who believe that I'm doing wrong by not believing the traditional way of, let's say, at least here in the traditional way of Christianity, where the external by doing these external practices, these external things will eventually change you internally. No, it's totally the other way around. 100% the other way around. I mean, even in the Bible, Jesus says, don't clean the outside of the cup and leave everything nasty and gross inside the cup. You clean the inside of the cup first, because that's really what matters. These external things are not going to, and I'm a testament to it. I'm a testament to decades of trying the external to change the internal with nothing happening. And I'm not judging anyone. And you, if that's what you want to do and it's bringing you joy and happiness, great. I just know for me, it didn't. And as much as I was full blown into it. If you want freedom, if you want to be able to be who you are authentically, you have to start working from the inside out. It can be as simple as just imagining yourself in a specific scenario that you want to be in and acting the way that you want to be. And you're going to get all these reasons why. You're going to get all these reasons why it's not going to work. You're going to get all these reasons why you are not that person. You're going to get all these reasons why that's bad. You're going to get all these reasons why these authority figures over here are they say that you can't do that. And you have to ignore it. And you have to do it. You have to say, I am, and believe you have what you have, and you'll start changing from the inside. You'll start becoming that person. You'll go from where you are now, and you don't know how it's going to happen, but by just believing and imagining yourself in that specific situation, acting the way that you want to act, with confidence, or with love, or with humor, or with whatever it is, it will happen. And I've seen over and over and over and over again. In fact, I just got a free cup of coffee from imagining getting a cup of coffee for free. You'll see over and over again, you'll become that person. You'll have the freedom that you want. Now, I'm mainly speaking to the men because I know how painful it is. I know how painful it is when you are trapped in a cycle of addiction, when you're trapped in a cycle of seeking validation. I know how it feels when everyone around you, as you're trying to change, is trying to hold you down or hold you back, and despite having the benefits, despite them benefiting from your positive changes. All I can say is that it's absolutely worth it if you work on you. Spend 30 minutes a day imagining yourself doing some kind of meditation. The Gateway Experience by Robert Monroe. You can get those free on online, or you can do it on YouTube. Breath work, things that will get you changing on the inside. Especially, I love breath work. I've already mentioned this before, but breath work lets you tap into your subconscious and make changes like that. My first time doing breath work, I literally could not move. I was shaking, I was crying, I could barely get up. And after that, these tics, these nervous things, whenever I would talk with somebody, they would start going away. Like I would say something and I knew by habit that I was going to act a certain way, and it didn't happen. I would talk to somebody I admire and have that feeling that I need his validation, and it wouldn't happen. That validation, that feeling wouldn't happen. It was more of, oh, he's a peer. he's on my level, or I'm on his level, or even if I'm not, I don't need his validation. I haven't had to go to and buy, $1,000 courses or be a part of $5,000 a month masterminds seeking after this validation because of working internally. And now the success, the joy, the love, the freedom to be who I am, despite whoever it is, has just gone through the roof. And so I just urge you, work from the inside out. Start now. Find ways to start working from inside of yourself and grow. Grow who you want to be, that little seed, a little mustard seed that will grow into a big tree. With that little bit of faith that you can be that person, and I promise you, you will be that person. It might take a little while. You don't even have to worry about how, but if you imagine yourself in that certain way and you start working, doing meditating, breath work, start doing things where you are that person now, because God's name is I am. It's always present. Jesus says, believe you have it now, and you will. Believe you have it. Keep on believing you have it. Go to bed at night believing you have it, and you will have it. You will have that freedom. You will have that joy. You will have what you want, and it will come from within. Because the kingdom of God is not up there. And once again, Jesus says, if anyone says, oh, there I am, there's Jesus, oh, there's the Messiah, no. Don't believe them, because the kingdom of God is within you. I never was really taught that. And I was a Catholic apologist for a long time. Went even for my master's degree in philosophy at a Catholic seminary, a orthodox, very orthodox one. Work your inside. Start loving yourself, so then you can express like a projector the joy that you have in your heart. I promise you, you'll also have the freedom that you're desiring.